This is an audio version of the list of recommendations from the report, Enhancing Cultural Participation of Persons with Disabilities, a Toolkit for Cultural Organisations, by Delia Ferry and Elodie McCool. The list is aimed at supporting cultural organisations in addressing and countering barriers faced by persons with disabilities in culture. The first recommendation is about having inclusive leadership on cultural organisations. Ensure the inclusion and equal participation of people with disabilities by integrating people with disabilities in different positions in cultural organisations. Secondly, commit to the inclusion of input and influence by people with disabilities at all stages of decision-making processes in a timely manner so that they can genuinely participate in decisions. This should include advisory or supervisory boards and committees or stable consultative bodies that are involved on a routine basis in decision-making processes. The third recommendation is with regard to inclusive employment. Consider and value people with disabilities for employment as artists, performers and other roles existing in cultural organisations and as an audience or consumers, such as, for example, by including free companion tickets. The fourth recommendation is to have inclusive policies. Embed clear inclusivity and accessibility-focused policies benefiting people with disabilities in documentation, official policies, and organisational planning documents such as strategic plans and audience development plans, directly drafted and amended by the people affected. Awareness raising is the next recommendation. Collaborate with other bodies to promote the importance of accessibility in cultural participation by engaging with institutions that train relevant cultural professionals to help them become more inclusive of people with disabilities and more informed about the barriers they face. The next point is that there should be periodic auditing and continuous development. Conduct frequent audits and reviews relating to the accessibility of infrastructures, cultural content, websites and communication channels to ensure correct policy application and to better understand and address remaining challenges. Include persons with disabilities in all these audits and reviews. The next recommendation is for education and training. Develop thorough staff training on accessibility, inclusion and disability awareness to a wide range of staff with the help of OPDs, while also building capacity and upskilling key staff on a permanent basis to ensure the respect and better implementation of measures. The eighth recommendation is for funding. Ensure that accessibility is embedded in your budget and that organisations specifically address accessibility and disability inclusion when applying for funding opportunities. Number 9 is to promote inclusive cultural content by collaborating with artists with disabilities and ensure diverse representation in programming, including exhibitions, performances and workshops. Collect data on disability inclusion, on accessibility and on disability representation within your organisation and within your audience and stakeholders. The next recommendation is to ensure the physical accessibility of cultural buildings, venues and heritage sites. Ensure all spaces are wheelchair accessible, provide tactile, braille and visually clear signage, offer inclusive seating, ensure assistive devices like hearing loops, and use adaptable sound and lighting systems to meet diverse accessibility requirements. Ensure availability of sign language translators and experts in Malosi language. The 12th recommendation is the expansion of accessible services. Consider physical and sensory accessibility beyond exhibition areas, such as food services, backstage areas, and gift shops with merchandise covering diverse needs. Improve accessibility by providing distinct accessible bathrooms for men and women rather than a single facility for all individuals with disabilities. Ensure your website, social media and materials meet accessibility standards. Provide clear and alternative formats, audio, braille, captions, easy to read. Offer accessible content, audio descriptions and touch tours. Include accessible language and accommodate specific services for example, sign language interpreters upon request. The next recommendation is to organise relaxed events with flexible entry and exit, adjusted sound and lighting, clear signage and a welcoming environment. Provide quiet spaces, clear pre-event information and accommodate individual preferences, for example, sensory supports. Ensure staff are trained to assist, creating an inclusive atmosphere where people with disabilities feel comfortable and respected. The final recommendation is for partnerships. Seek out and partner with organisations of people with disabilities to create and develop accessible opportunities centering the interests of people with disabilities.